Good evening. This is CTV News for Monday, May 5th. I'm Denise Douglas. Thank you so much for joining us. More than 24 homes in Piscataway Hills have been evacuated due to a slope failure. The incident occurred over the weekend, but now officials say a portion of Piscataway Drive has collapsed and a number of homes are in danger. The water and sewage service has been affected, and further roadway failure is also happening. No word yet on what caused this slope failure. Is in a trauma center this afternoon. We're talking about a Capitol Heights construction worker that is in a trauma center this afternoon after being trapped under a roof that he and his colleagues were installing. It happened around 1:30. Firefighters arrived to the 5100 block of Cumberland Street to find the man trapped underneath a roof under construction. It took first responders about 30 minutes to rescue the man. He sustained serious injuries. A fellow construction worker tells CTV News that the framework was possibly compromised.
I think they took off one more brace than they should have, and the framing that they had up there collapsed.
Look at the front of the house and see the house roof that they were installing. Again, this is not just putting new shingles on the roof of a house. They're putting new roof trusses, plywood, and shingles on this roof, and it shifted entirely off to the right. When that happened, there was a partial collapse of that roofing material on top of this worker. There were other workers involved and up on that roof also, but they were able to escape without injury.
A construction worker tells CTV they will soon return to the roof as they are under contract to finish that work. A building collapse in Dundalk leaves 8 people injured. It happened this morning during demolition work at the former Bethlehem steel plant located in the 1500 block of Sparrows Point Road. 3 of the victims were taken to Maryland Shock Trauma with critical injuries. The others were taken to local hospitals. The incident is still under investigation. Now, turning and looking at politics, the State House was a busy place today as the governor held his third in a series of several bill signings. Among the hundreds of pieces of legislation that will become law, a bill to boost the state's minimum wage is one of them, and it's an issue that has taken center stage, and it's a nationwide issue as well. Rochelle Metzger has more from Annapolis.
Making the minimum wage a living wage in Maryland was considered one of Governor Martin O'Malley's top priorities during the General Assembly session. Well, today he put pen to paper and signed a bill that boosts base pay for workers into law. Before a packed crowd, including media, elected officials, and community groups, Governor O'Malley puts final approval on legislation that will gradually raise the state's minimum wage for most workers to $10.10 an hour by July 2018, starting with a bump to $8 in January.
The stronger we make our middle class, the stronger we will make our economy.
U.S. Labor Secretary Tom Perez applauds the measure.
When you put money in people's pockets, people spend it. When people spend it, businesses have to hire more people. When businesses hire more people, everybody benefits. That's why the minimum wage works.
Despite extra labor costs, some business owners like Amanda Rothschild support the change.
I think that employees all around the state of Maryland getting a raise will only help our business and other businesses around us.
Rothschild owns a small cafe in Baltimore City that employs 14 workers. She's already made the move in her shop.
We pay people higher wages, and we see how paying people more actually helps us keep employees longer, which saves us money in training and food waste, and it gives us more dependable employees.
More than 200 bills were penned into law today, including one that requires the Office of the Attorney General to establish a Consumer Affairs satellite office in Prince George's County, and another that extends the move over law for motorists to include tow trucks. In Annapolis, I'm Rochelle Metzger, CTV News.
Thank you for that story, Rochelle. The governor will hold the last of 4 bill signings next Thursday, which is May 15th. County Executive Rashawn Baker today introduced a list of candidates he's backing in the June primary. Baker's endorsed more than a dozen people for local and statewide office. Among those was his son, Rashawn Baker IV, for the 22nd district. The county executive says this team will help move the county forward.
I think it sends a signal that these are the people who I believe not only have helped us, but could help us in the future. And it means that I'm going to use all the power that I have to get that message out to the voters. I believe wholly in the voters of Prince George's County, that they're very smart and discerning, and I want to help to get the information out there so they can make a really good choice.
The primary is set for June 25th. Maryland Working Families was part of Maryland Raised Minimum Wage campaign, which lobbied lawmakers for the bill's passage during the legislative session. The coalition is made up of both faith and labor groups that are working together to form a grassroots movement across the state. Key issues include paid sick leave for all workers, lifting student debt, tax fairness, and public campaign finances. Today, the coalition also announced a list of progressive candidates it's supporting in the upcoming June primary.
We're putting some of these legislators who, brag about standing in the way of progress as a way of protecting the status quo and protecting business. We're putting them in our crosshairs, and we're going after them. We're organizing in their districts, and we're turning out their voters and against them. And so we'll be really active in this election and in elections to come.
Local candidates receiving endorsements from the coalition in the June primary include Jimmy Tarlaw and Michael Summers in District 47A, Victor Ramirez in District 47. In District 26, the group is also lending support to Veronica Turner and David Sloan and Chris Valderrama. Hyattsville Police are searching for a man who allegedly assaulted a woman near the Prince George's Plaza Metro station. Take a good look at these surveillance photos that we're about to show you. Officers say that the assault happened around 2 a.m. Sunday morning on East-West Highway. The victim was reportedly walking home from the Metro station when the suspect approached her from behind, held a knife toward her, and told her to get behind the dumpster. He then robbed and sexually assaulted her. He fled on foot to a nearby neighborhood. If you have any information about this incident, you're asked to contact Hyattsville Police. You're watching CTV News. I'm Denise Douglas.